Hi, my name is Chris Kennedy, Cloud Architect with Pure Storage. Recently I've posted a couple of videos showing how to migrate applications from one Kubernetes cluster to another using Portworx. However, considering what's been happening recently, I thought it would be relevant to grab a section of a webinar that I did with AWS and show how you can leverage Portworx to build a disaster recovery and business continuity plan for your modern containerized workloads. And finally, let's talk about business continuity and disaster recovery, because downtime costs companies money, lots of money. And there's a few simple steps that can be taken with Portworx to ensure that your companies, and more importantly with Jenkins, your developers, don't sit idle and that they're able to continue to work. So we do that by creating what we call a cluster pair. And that's done with our Stork application, which, as I explained before, is our storage orchestrator for Kubernetes. So if we take a look, I've already set up replication to a second site. So you'll see that we have a cluster pair already created. And this is basically consists of the kube config being provided to Stork so that it's able to talk to that remote cluster. And then once it's able to talk to that cluster, we actually pair both the Kubernetes scheduler as well as the Stork scheduler, or the storage layer, through Stork, and we create migrations. So we can actually get those migrations. And we'll note that, within the last little bit, we've had 3 times that Jenkins has replicated based on our daily, our interval, and our weekly. And the same for Harbor. And those are based on schedule policies. So let's take a look. So our schedule policies are here, Harbor and Jenkins. So if we do we can take a look at that schedule. And basically what we are saying is that we want right here, daily, we're going to replicate at 10:15 p.m. We'll also replicate every 15 minutes. Monthly, we'll replicate on the 14th day of the month at 8:05. And then we'll have a weekly full replication every Thursday at 10:15 p.m. Now, this is a little bit overkill as far as the number of different types of replications, but I'll put these in here to show you the possibilities. Most of our customers will use a daily full with interval of maybe 15 minutes, half an hour, depending on what their recovery point objective is. When we're doing region to region replication, so in this case from US East 1 to US West 1, our most frequent replication schedule is every 5 minutes, and depending on the amount of data that you're moving, we generally like to say that that's a pretty trustworthy recovery point objective of every 15 minutes. And so not only do we give you the ability to have this replica ready, and let's take a look at that real quick. So we will expand this out a little and jump over to the other cluster. So I've now connected to my cluster in AWS West 1. And if you notice, we only have 3 nodes here. So if I go back over to EC2 or AWS console and to EKS and switch to California, in order to help save, I've configured my agent node group with a desired size of 0, but they can expand to 5 nodes. So if I needed to begin running workloads in that remote cluster, based on how I've configured Jenkins to run my my various Kubernetes pods on the agent nodes, this auto-scaling group would kick in and automatically deploy agent nodes for me to run jobs on. But one nice thing that we are able to do is we're able to test this DR while keeping our developers busy in that production environment. So let me switch back. Well, first, actually, we were going to take a look. So if we do kubectl get all in Jenkins, which is where our Jenkins application is, you'll notice that we've got the service, we've got the stateful set, but there's no pods. And so if we get the replica sets for that, we'll see that there's none in existence. And that's because as part of our awareness of Kubernetes, we know to create the stateful set, but do not scale it up. Do not create replicas of that stateful set to spin, which keeps the pods from actually starting up. But to start them up, and this is actually how we can test our disaster recovery, we can in turn go back to our other cluster and we can pause that migration schedule using Stork. And so now that we've paused that, basically the migration, the replication from our production cluster to our DR cluster has been suspended. Our developers are still working, they're still producing code, running jobs, and in the meantime, as part of our day 2 type operations, we can switch back to that other cluster, and we can scale up our replica set and check our DR site, make sure that it's working. So I'm actually going to scale my stateful set. We'll wait on that because it does need to pull its images and everything. Now again, all the while, people are working in this instance of Jenkins. And we've reached 2 of 2. Now, if we're actually failing over to this instance of Jenkins, I would now grab my ingress manifests and apply them to the cluster to be able to redirect Route 53 to these hosts and get my developers back into Jenkins and get them working again. But instead, we just want to verify that the replication is working and that we're ready for that DR. So we'll just port forward to the service and check it out that way. So now we have that port forward happening, and we can go to here. Let me sign in as me. And we'll see that we have our builds. We have our build histories. We have all of our configuration and everything is in place, ready to go. And if I were to click build now and start this, then this auto scaling group would kick in, create some nodes, schedule my jobs, and I would have my developers back to work. I hope you found that helpful. And if you'd like to learn more, visit us at purestorage.com/Portworx or portworx.com. Thank you.